Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm coming in quite exhausted. I feel like I'm hungover, and I'm really not at all. It is New Year's Day here in Albania. I know many of you are waking up to your New Year's Day. Like I have the stupids, like back in the day when if you remember, if it was your experience, it used to be mine. You'd wake up all hungover and you had the stupids. You can't put a sentence together. You barely can put yourself together. That is today for me. And I think it has a lot to do. It has a lot to do with the energies that we're in. It has a lot to do with where we're going, what we're doing here in 2023. And as I bring this message forth, I kind of want to give you a little bit of a recap. Excuse, like I'm seeing myself and I look so tired. Um, I'll tell you what, last night, here in Saranda, Albania, we had the our neighbors invited me over to to watch the whole New Year's fireworks thing, and I've had some pretty cool New Year's Eve experiences in my lifetime, and this was up there. It was really freaking cool, and it was such an amazing way to kind of wind down my time here in Albania. For many of you who've been here, you know that 2022 I spent majority of the year here in Albania, and it has been a really rough year. Not because of Albania or anything like that. It's just I've had an amazing view, had an amazing environment to be in and to grow in and to heal in, but it has been quite a year. And I know it's been quite a year for many of you. And 2022 brought us a lot of changes. It brought in an immense amount of increase in energies that we've never received before, which has kind of pushed not all, but a lot of energy out of us, through us. It broke up a lot of energy in our worlds, and we've had to watch our world break down in many ways. And I think in my own experience, 2022 here in Saranda was really watching my own inner world completely break down. And there's so many different ways I want to go, but last night, I'll bring it back to last night. So our friends had, they have a bar and a restaurant here. So I went down there for some dinner, but I just had some chicken and dumplings. And then I told them, I was like, I'll come over to your place around, just around midnight. But I had to come home and I slept for a few hours and set my alarm and got up. And it was funny because it's like, as we get older, I texted to them. I was like, "You guys up yet?" Because they went home and took a nap as well. So we all like reconvened around like 11:55. We're all like, we just want to be in bed. But we just went out on their balcony, and at New Year's, the whole, I've shared pictures on social media, but Saranda is like a big horseshoe, and where our building is set up, you could see the whole horseshoe, and the whole town, everybody sets off fireworks, and it was just like, I don't know, 15 minutes, just like fireworks all over. And there was a freighter ship out here, and they were shooting off flares, and it was the coolest thing. And just the sound of it, the boom, 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 and it just echoed. And it's like a big amphitheater, as I've also talked about that too, because when there's noise, it just echoes around the entire town. But it was a really cool noise, thank God, last night. And it was just it was like really cool to just sit there, and it just felt like an ending or a new beginning. It was an amazing way to begin again. And this message has been coming up. It's been percolating about beginning again in the last 10 days or so since I've done the last peace talks. I've been really quiet, really quiet. And the interesting thing is, it's been super quiet here. The weather has been amazing. A lot of the construction that I've been talking about has quieted down. so I can go back out and do my balcony time, and I sit in the sun and I just listen to the silence. I took up crocheting as something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And my friend Jamie, who owns the bar and restaurant, and my neighbor, she crochets all the time, and I'll go down to the bar and we just sit there and and she'll crochet as she's talking to people at the bar and stuff. It's a cool vibe down there. And so I finally was like, all right, Jamie, I'm going to start. I want to start something new. I'm really starting to feel the desire for newness, a desire for curiosity is bubbling up, a desire for um, in things of interest in my world. So I've been Googling or YouTube mostly crocheting, and then taking my stuff down to Jamie and being like, Jamie, what does this look like? Why is it all wonkadoo? But I want to show you something that I did. I had about a week's worth of a scarf going, and the more that I worked on it, the more wonky it got. And as it got wonky, I would try to fix it and try to figure out how to, where my stitches went wrong. And, this whole learning process is really putting me into this place of, an expanded awareness of what it really means to begin again. And I do have a bigger message, but I'm kind of tying it together and bringing these last 10 days of really just sitting in the silence. I'll sit out in on the sun and on the balcony and crochet my little scarf and figure, and like get mad and try to find myself trying to figure out, trying to fix. And finally today, just got to the point, and I mean, it was a pretty good length of scarf so far that I had, but it was the edges were all crazy because my stitches weren't right. And I just took it all apart. I took it all apart. And as I was doing it, actually, I had to work up to doing it all day. I've been kind of like, I think I need to just be done and end this effort and begin again. And the whole begin again, these words have been resounding within me as I've sat and I've reflected and crocheted. It's such a meditative practice. It helps me just kind of keep my hands busy as I just pay attention to all the thoughts that I've been going through. I've been really reminiscing on these last couple of years, this pilgrimage that I'm going to call it, that I've been on since leaving everything I've owned, and kind of stepping away from the life that I had built, the traditional life, and chose to let it go, and realizing in these last year and a half how hard it has been to deconstruct. It was hard physically to deconstruct a whole life that was built, but also the deconstruction of this last year and a half is what I'm calling a spiritual pilgrimage here in Europe, has really been the deconstruction and the realization of how much of a house of cards I had, as I finally decided at one point to allow things to just let go and say whatever is not in my best interest, just let it go. And 2020 was the year that I finally committed to that. And in these last 18 months, it's really been like a gut punch to see how everything that left my life, relationships, kids, not kids, but it being in my space, my home. And yes, this was all a choice. And at the same time, I think these last 2 years, and especially this last year, many of us have been faced with the pain of what happens when we finally decide to let go and heal all that doesn't serve us. We see these memes like, let go of what doesn't serve you. And we see these, influencers saying, let go of what doesn't serve you. But what does that really mean? If you've been in it, you know that that's some shit. Because when you start letting go and just letting go of controlling, keeping things in your world and allowing the things that aren't serving you to be let go of, it's painful. the more I sat and unraveled each row of the stitches that I've worked for the last week on this stupid scarf, just for the metaphor of it, like really wasn't really that hard, but it was such a visual of like the unraveling of what my personal life has been in these last 2 years. And as I have been just quiet over these last couple of days, 10, 11 days or so, I've really noticed a pulling back of my energy back into myself. I was pulling away from even being online. I said on my last peace talks, I'll be in Storehouse Social. I wasn't, because I wanted to just be on my own. And I did wasn't like a conscious choice. I had to just sit with myself and take a look at all of this journey and what it has taught me, what it has shown me, and all of the unraveling that has taken place, and all of the pain that has caused, and all of the healing that it has delivered. So, 2022 was this most amazing year in experiences and healing and understanding and expansion and an evolution of consciousness. And at the same time, all of that has been like a shock to the system in so many different ways. So in these last 10 days, the other part of it is the energy has been super weird. It was so weird. Like it was time was different. Dreams have been really interesting. My dreams, my dream state, which is, what I'll call the nighttime dreams, but we know this waking dream is the dream state actually. We have it opposite, but just to keep going with the normal speak, at night when I am asleep, that's when we as real spiritual beings, we're doing work that our mind is not consciously aware of, and whatever work is being done, I'm not fully consciously aware of, but I am in this state of awareness of the dreams and how my mind is kind of processing it. And there is some crazy stuff going on. Last night, after actually before I got up to watch the fireworks, I went to sleep maybe around 9. So I had like a good 3 hours before the fireworks. And in those 3 hours, like, I felt, it's so weird. It felt so much like I had just partied, and I laid down, and, like, I was spinning, and, like, how you when you get the spins, or you're just really nauseous, that's how I felt. But again, not 1 drop of alcohol, nothing. And I was like, "What is going on?" Like, the energy was just so intense, and yet if you look at the Schumann, it's weirdly quiet, like, weirdly quiet. We've had some solar flares over the last couple of days here and there. But there's a lot more going on than even technology is allowing us to see, or giving us evidence of. But I can feel it so palpably. And last night was the very first time that I was like, I had the spins, and I was having these like really weird dreams. So when I woke up to go over to my neighbors, I was super disoriented, and then I came back and went back to sleep, and again had really crazy dreams. And when I woke up, I literally felt like I was hung over. I felt like I had drank 16 beers, or whatever would have caused me to feel that, like, not bad, but just my stomach was a mess all day today. So all that to say, with all of the energy having its effect on us physically and energetically and mentally, and on top of that, then like having the consciousness to be really contemplating and looking back on this past year, what am I taking away? In these last 10 days, what I've come down to is everything is stripped raw. This past year, we have been given the opportunity to literally unravel everything that was not working. And if you were willing and brave enough to go there and to allow that unraveling to happen, we have been taken back down to it's almost like where we were with, at the very beginning, just this one little atom, this one little this one little nucleus of who we are. And that's what I kept feeling over these last 10 days as if I sat with this is like, I feel like I have zero emotion left. And it's not because of like giving up. It's a completely different energy than like, I'm emotionless. I don't feel anything. I literally had almost zero, um, not willingness, zero need for prayers. I talk about my power up prayers. I would go up to my morning spot, like I've talked about for many, many weeks and months now. And I would just sit and just be like, I've got nothing. I've got nothing to ask for. I have nothing to pray for. I just feel such a stillness, and it feels so foreign. And there is nothing that I have an overwhelming desire for to pray or to intentionalize. There's nothing that I have feeling that I have to heal. When thoughts of something that would come in from, that used to be a trigger, it would do nothing for me or to me. I would just be like, I'm done with that. Like it just would pass through because I'm like, I'm not feeding this anymore. I've done this work and I'm not doing it anymore. I swipe. We talked about swipe. And like it's just been so empty. So I've been so empty in these last 2 weeks. And again, a completely different energy, a foreign energy than I've ever felt before, because there is an emptiness that comes sometimes when you just give up. And it's not that, but there's also not this inner uh, desire to like achieve or to heal or go to the next step. And what I've come to understand in these last 15 years from my life, but in these last couple of years for all of us, especially who have been in this accelerated healing space, is that there's like next wave. Okay, let's work through that. Next wave. It's felt like a lot of work. And 2022 was a lot of that. It was okay, here comes the next wave. But now I think what I've come to understand about this emptiness is you get it. We get it. I don't need to put any more videos out about, the healing process. We don't need like there's no fancy memes that are needed. You don't need all of the stuff that I think we have felt we've needed in the past because we get it. This is a simple fucking process. It comes up, you look at it, you feel it, you let it go. And it's been difficult because we have not been taught that, and going through and feeling all of the old stuff that we have been taught to pack down has felt like bam, 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 because we were all so filled up with this inverted matrix of emotional energy that we've just been taught stuff that down, pack that away, pack that away, pack that away, pack that away. Then we were like, and then when it all started to unravel, we've had to literally sit with the pain of unraveling it all. And if you've allowed yourself to do that, we are pretty much at the end. The last peace talks title was it's the end. We've come to the end of literally, where's my end of the rope? It's in here in a tangled mess somewhere. But we've come to the end of the string, which means we get to start weaving a completely new pattern. We are at the nucleus of who we are. That's why we feel so empty. And do we want to keep filling up, filling up, filling up? No, not even with happiness, because that can become overwhelming too. That can be packed in and become unhealthy as well. When we put something in, we allow it to pass through. And as we weave another or crochet or knit, whatever it is that you want, like whatever the metaphor, as we start to weave a new pattern of perfection, which I've talked about on here for, it's been a while since I've used those terms, but Patricia Cota Robles uses it all the time. The patterns of perfection are the patterns our heart are calling us to begin again. We get to just start from scratch as long as you have been willing to face and unravel everything. And if you haven't yet, you're going to have to continue that process. It has to be unraveled. Every aspect of your life has to be unraveled. It doesn't mean you have to let it go. It's just only if that aspect is unhealthy or it's built on a house of cards. And at one point, 15 years ago, I didn't know it, but every aspect of my life was built on a foundation of feathers. I love my feathers, but if a foundation of fluff, a house of cards, and one gasp of life took it all down. And it took 15 years for me to understand that and to allow each aspect. Relationships had to fall away, finances had to fall away, the work that I was doing had to fall away. All of these things have to get all the way down to where the pattern is still good, where the foundation is still good. For me, God darn, I picked a lifetime where everything had to come down to where here I am, literally physically by myself, emptied out completely of every aspect of my life, to be at a point now where I get to rebuild it all. I get to begin again. And although there's a part of me that's terrified of that, it just seems like this monumental thing. At the same time, there's a part of me that's like, okay, then how are you going to do this? Because I will not do it again without it being a pattern of my heart perfected thoughts, behaviors, desires. If it doesn't match this, it doesn't get put in. If somebody enters in and it's not a match, you don't come in. Like, this is where I get really freaking serious about life. And it sounds so like crazy for me to hear that, because I've been really serious about life, which to me, and in this conscious journey, I've been so serious about it that in these last 15 years, I've allowed it all to just go, all of it to go. And it's been damn painful. And at the same time, that's what this time is all about. That's what we have been brought here to do, to unravel, to then begin again and start to create from the patterns of perfection that are aligned with our heart, that is directly connected through that supernal channel with our individual unique souls. And this is where now January's theme is evolution. The evolution now begins, and we get to begin again in the evolutionary recreation of our own individual lives. And when it is emptied out of all things, all people, all situations, all the environment that has not served us, we are at the very beginning of the nucleus, which is us, which is ourselves, which is the I am presence that begins again. And we can say it's the new year, so we're going to begin again, but it just kind of coincides with all of the energy. The new cycle, the new solar cycle starts. It's all beginning again right here and right now. So as we move forward, I am going to I'm being called, and we are all being called to relax into this, to allow it just to be one step at a time, relax into it. How does this feel? Do I choose this? Yes. Okay. This can be woven in. This can become a stitch in the fabric that is the pattern of perfection that I am weaving now, that is my life from this point on. And anything that comes in and it's like, ooh, no, that color doesn't go. That, like, not color, like any, again, it's a metaphor. That fabric, that yarn count, whatever doesn't match, it doesn't come into this pattern. Like the steps are going to be so consciously chosen from here on out that now this is where the heaven on earth starts to come together. 2023 is a big, big year. It's a big year. It's a 7 year. Seven is associated in numerology with intuition, with the right brain, with the creation side. So it is a creation year, and we get to begin again and start from scratch from here on out if we so choose. If we so choose. Um, from here on out, as far as peace talks, the one thing that I did, I feel myself really starting to pull back from social media, from internet stuff. This, the energy of this stuff is like really starting to, I'm having a hard time connecting. I feel like I'm trying to be okay with it, but I feel like my self trying is kind of pulling something into that fabric that isn't quite wanting to be sewn in. So I don't know what this means, but I do believe I'm not going to be doing 3 days a week of live peace talks. I am going to be doing recorded peace talks. And I don't know if it's going to be one a week. I don't know if it's going to be six a week. Um, but I'm just going to day by day see what this becomes. I do there is a part of me that does want to continue to share because I think this journey is so fascinating, and I think that I think I have an interesting perspective on this time in space and time that we are in. And at the same time, what I have found is, showing up at a specific time. Sometimes the message isn't always there. I'm kind of feeling myself get stressed out, and I'm just done with that. So and I'm also feeling like there's a call to change perspectives, change locations, change where videos are actually done, so that it's not always this. I want it to be, I want movement. I require movement in my own soul. I feel like I'm requiring movement of, these messages that come forth, and I want to have the ability to be able to just record one and not feel like, oh, but I have to do it live. So I'm pulling back on the schedule, and just I'm allowing myself to begin again with a new season of peace talks. And I have no plan for it, just to see where it goes and how it goes. So that's where I'm at with these. I feel that there is a lot of space for my work to evolve. I don't know what that means. It's kind of like I'm antsy to know. And at the same time, I haven't done 12, almost 12 years of this study, this work, spiritual studies and hypnotherapy and all of this work, um, to just, to not have it be a part of who I am. So there's something that's being called forth as far as taking everything that I have done and learned and experienced, and evolving that. So the month of January, having, beginning a new year, having the theme of evolution, having this theme of being unraveled back to our core, to our soul core, back to our I am presence. Everything now, our 12 power centers are online. 2022 did all of that for us. And, that surge of energy was quite intense. And at the same time, we are now taking all of that newness, the new wisdom, the new operating system. We get to begin again with creating new powers of perfection, patterns of perfection from the essence of who we are. It feels like a really auspicious time. Yes, it's New Year's, but there's something much bigger, much wider that is being given to us as far as an opportunity. So we're going to be exploring this. We are going to continue to be talking about this. I'm going to continue to be bringing, videos of some sort, maybe weekly, maybe, a couple times a week. I don't know yet, but this theme is going to continue because as we build, as we start coming into the knowledge of what these new patterns mean, what these new power centers, being online mean, we are literally creating the new operating manual for us as multidimensional beings, creating the physical heaven on earth of our own unique I am presences, and being so tuned into ourselves that we can tune everything else outside of us and really be tuned into our own pattern of perfection and what that looks like, so that we don't have to unravel everything again. We can just start from a really strong foundation and build and grow and weave our fabric of our heaven on earth in the most beautiful and most colorful of ways, in the most beautiful patterns. However you choose to weave it, that is completely up to you, and that's what you get to do in 2023. So we are going to be walking this experience together for as long as I'm supposed to be sharing on here. I will continue to do that, just in a different way. It's just evolving again. So that is the message for beginning again today. Such a beautiful day. It's a beautiful message. My environment out here, it's like this soft pink. It looks like cotton candy. Like this, the sun has just gone down. It's a soft pink. Like the sea is blue, and it kind of like blends into the blue of the sky, and it's just a really beautiful moment, outside as well as inside, as we really start to kind of tune into what does it mean to begin again in the consciousness that we have come into in this beautiful little nucleus of a being that we all are. So happy new year, happy new beginnings, happy 2023, you all. Like we've got some work to do, and I think it's going to be, it feels like it's not, to me, 2023 was hard work. 20 basically the last 2 years have felt like hard work. Whereas I almost get the sense that 2023 is more of like the joyful work, like when you're building a home, like actually, well, my mom will laugh at this. It's funny that came up because she and my stepdad literally have built a home for the last 9 years from scratch. Each, everything pounded in by their own hands and painted by their own hands. Like literally those two have done it themselves. And, so there's like a joy to it, but there's work to it as well. So 2023 feels like that to me. Like we know we're going to put some hard work into, and when I say hard work, conscious work. Conscious work is getting easier and easier for us because our operating systems are just tuning into conscious awareness in every given moment. So whereas 2020 to 2022, I had a lot of 20s in there. The last 2 years has really been, steering our mind, steering our being back to conscious awareness in the now moment. We've gotten better and better at that as we've purged more and more and become more in tune with our supernal channels. So the hard work is not going to be like stay conscious. Oh, bring yourself back. Where is it? Where am I now? Bring myself back to the now moment. It's going to this year we're more in tune to that. So it won't be as like much of a battle to like work to be in the now moment. It's going to be more, I feel like a more like physical work, like literally building things and bringing, our gardens to life, whatever that garden is in your world, whether it be your work, whether it be a home, whether it be new relationships, and you're nurturing those gardens of relationships, new communities. So this is where like we start the work, like more of the physical work of beginning again and recreating any aspect. And like for me, all aspects of life are ready to be rebuilt. So again, that seems kind of overwhelming. And at the same time, step by step by step by step, by being conscious in each of those steps, I think it could also, it feels like it's going to be like, oh, this was a great day, honey. I met somebody new, or somebody's coming over, or I learned how to do this. And, kind of bringing all of this expanded awareness and expanded consciousness into physical reality. That is what 2023 feels like is going to be for me. So the work is going to change. It's going to be different. It's going to be beautiful, and I think we'll actually have things to show and share with each other in this year, rather than kind of like, the inner work that we've been in for so long. So that is the message. Hi, Kat. Good to see your name. Love seeing your beautiful things, Brenna. I know. Thanks for saying yes to my beautiful face, because I feel very run down. I swear to y'all, it's the weirdest thing. I literally feel hungover. And after like the night's sleep, Brenna, you were texted me on Instagram. It was like, if the last 2 weeks felt really weird, and they have. I can't. It's hard to put it into words. Like, just there have been moments I'd be outside and I'm like, something's happening. Something's weird is happening. Like, I can't see it, but I can feel it in the energies. I can feel I like my physical body is purging a lot more in this last couple of days, especially, than ever before. So I take that as a positive thing, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I think that's why I feel so tired, because my body has been purging um in different ways, and not so pleasant ways, if I were to be honest, but I'm pretty honest here. And that's kind of been draining on my body. So I don't feel beautiful, but thank you for saying that. I feel very drained. But at the same time, though, again, the unraveling, the physical is always the last piece to unravel. So I'm like, well, if I'm unraveling in this way, that means we're ready to begin again. So that's been the energies. It has felt really weird, and it has like night times are really strange to me. Like, how many times I'll wake up and be like, whoa, like there was some presence. I feel more of a presence in the energies, and I don't really know how to, like, how else to put that, but they just feel very different, very unknown, very alive. And when they're around, I can, like, I do feel a lot more jitteriness. I feel a lot, I hear a lot more like space in in between my ears. But like, like the inner frequencies, I hear a lot of more. And it almost like, I get the sense that we are moving through space and time very quickly. Whatever, I don't know how else to put it, but I do feel like there is a lot of movement that's happening, and that's why the energy feels so different and disorienting a little bit. And especially last night with like the nauseousness, I'm like, man, we are moving quickly. Something is happening. We're moving quickly. Um, so in what sense that movement is, I think I just feel like it's through space and time. Like, we are going through a very, very quick movement, energetically, in frequency, and it is weird. So waking up this morning and all day, kind of like my body is again purging, and just literally feeling exactly like I have felt when I, hung over back in the day after after a New Year's in Amsterdam one year. Like that, I feel like that. But I didn't have all the things that I had in Amsterdam. I literally like slept like an old lady until midnight, and watched 10 minutes and went back to sleep, and had my banana bread right before I went to bed. So it was like, it's just the most like chill New Year's Eve. But to feel like I do today, and to have like all the weirdness that was happening at night last night, like there was some big shift. So what that means for us yet, I don't know. I think we have to integrate it and see where it takes us. But I think that's it. The one last thing that I am going to say, because this has been really, really loud to me in the last 10 days, is it's almost like this is just the way life is now. We will have these days of rapid movement, frequency movement. We know this now. It's not, I don't, I'm not talking about like we're leading up to a flash. Like, yes, I believe something like that is happening, but I can't tell you that I think it's going to be tomorrow, or, it could still be years. So this is our reality at this point. This is our reality. We are going to have these massive influxes. We are going to move quickly in frequency. We are going to feel disoriented. We are going to purge. And at the same time, if we can relax into it, just relax into it at this point, we know this is the way now. This is just it. It doesn't, to me, I don't feel like we have to keep regurgitating the same thing, because this is just the way it is. But at the same time, we're also weaving our patterns of perfection. We're bringing in new ideas, and we're implementing those ideas and taking steps on them. So when we do finally start to see in our physical reality the fruits of our labor, they will start to compound over time pretty quickly, is how I see it. If we move in frequency at a quick pace, any efforts of doing that we bring forth, of creation, will kind of expand really rapidly. So that's why effort we put in from the heart, it has to be from the heart, because any effort we put in is going to rapidly expand. So 2023 has a lot of potential to, this time next year, be looking at it being like, holy crap, I cannot believe how much has come into my reality this year. Because as we say yes to something, if it is not aligned, we're just building another house of cards. It's going to have to be unraveled. And that's going to happen faster. And it's going to be, the faster it happens, the more painful it is sometimes, right? So if we can just be creating those patterns of perfection from the heart, saying yes. When we say yes, it's going to multiply and expand, right? We say, oh, we wait, we relax into it, wait to the inspired moment. Something comes into our world, an idea. Oh, yes. We say yes to that, and we place that, we kind of weave that in. Da, 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 da. It's going to expand quickly. So this is the year where the intention of what we choose is going to expand very quickly, because now we are connected into that divine matrix. And the divine matrix created a whole world all in 7 days, right? I mean, according to whatever, again, metaphors. Okay. We know that what the creator is asking of us, through our intentions, through our heart, through our unique souls, when we say yes, it's going to place it and it's going to expand it. So that is what we have worked to come into, where manifestation and materialization comes in quickly and easily and efficiently when we are a cleared nucleus, starting at the very beginning of this thread that I can't find the end of. I really wanted to find the end, but you get what I'm saying. We're at the very beginning now. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for letting me ramble on about this. Thank you for being here on New Year's with me. Happy New Year. I look forward to seeing how we all expand and unfold in this year. And who knows where we'll be? Who knows where this channel will be in a year? I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm being called. It's literally a day to day. What am I being called to do today kind of question. That's how we operate from here on out. What is mine to do today? That's how we create the patterns of perfection and create our world in 2023. All right, y'all. So much love to you. Talk to you soon.